Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katherine Young and I'm a creative, and today we are talking all about vintage teacups. So in this video, we are going to showcase some different display ideas with teacups, and then we're going to show some items from Teabloom, and then if you stay till the end, I'm going to showcase some of my favorite teacups in my collection. There's special ones with hidden secrets, super bougie ones, unique ones, expensive ones, all kinds of fun. And the reason I love vintage teacups is they are a really easy buy-in if you want to start vintage collecting. You go to any thrift store, you go to any vintage shop, any antique store, there will be teacups galore. So you can really start off pretty inexpensively. So today I am having Bloomin' Tea by Teabloom. I am so excited. I've never had blooming tea before. It is so beautiful and it makes the tea experience just like so special. So grab a cup of your favorite hot beverage and join me. My first tip with displaying vintage teacups is to set it out like somebody just walked away from the cup. You can set them out on side tables. I have it on this gorgeous settee over here. The settee is actually from a funeral parlor. And when you look at this beautiful setup, it looks like somebody just walked away from the cup. But if you looked at the items that I put around it, there's a bit more of a sinister story being told. My next tip for displaying teacups is to put them in little cubbies, small shelves. They look amazing this way. And these vintage teacup shelves, they're getting harder to find, but they are out there. One thing I will note is I like the really bougie fancy teacups, and they don't always fit in all those shelves exactly as they're supposed to because the saucer is so big. So keep that in mind when you are looking at these shelves. Not every teacup will fit exactly as you want it to. But if you put a teacup away in like a little cubby somewhere, it just creates interest. It also kind of gives it like a dark academia vibe. I am all for teacups in little cubbies. There's something about that bright pop of color and that shape in a little cubby that is really striking. Also, when you place like all these teacups in a row in these different cubby holders, it really has a really fun vibe for your collection, right? And you can do your collection however you want. You could do it all the same style, all the same color, themes, all kinds of things like that, right? I really like bougie and over the top. I really like that kind of mad tea party vibe. But there is something about the cubbies for display that looks so striking. Also, on a shelf, if you kind of put some books stacked up next to a teacup, it really creates that cubby look. Very dark academia. You also don't have to have an exact little cubby to put the teacup in. You can also put it in a shelf or a small space on a shelf. And this kind of still gives the vibe of a really small little cubby. So if there's a really small space on a shelf, it doesn't matter what else is on the shelf. Teacups go with basically everything. You just put that teacup there and it looks really, really good. Teacups on like in hutch shelves look so, so good too. It still gives that kind of like striking small space for the teacup look. I highly recommend. These look fantastic. Now let's talk teacup stands. Now you can do the cubbies, of course, that have the little ridge on the back to hold up the plate, but you can also find so many different stands to display teacups. You can display teacups along the wall, like I have in my beautiful plate wall. The hangers for that, they come in this little thing like this. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon. I'll be sure to link them below. Now, just be mindful that these can break your teacups. Also, when you hang a teacup on the wall, just be mindful that walking past it, you can bump the teacup and break and like knock it off and break it. I have done that more than once. So Just be mindful that the teacup sticking out of the wall, you might want to put it up high so that it's not really in the way where you're walking. I didn't really think about that when I made my display. There are also inexpensive teacup stands that kind of look like this. Why I really love a teacup stand is because it gives you a chance to make the saucer design vertical. And that looks so beautiful to have your saucer design vertical. However, my favorite teacup stands are the vintage and antique ones. So I love the ones that look like this. And I can tell you right now, these are harder to find. Usually when you see these at antique stores, they're marked NFS or not for sale. But I really like this one. The teacup goes off to the side and the saucer goes up a little bit. I think they're so pretty. And you can find them in all kinds of different designs. Here is one that actually has a peacock on it. Really, really cool, really cool. But my absolute favorite teacup display stands are those antique wood ones. Nothing beats an antique wood teacup stand. I just think they look incredible. The saucer looks incredible in them. Your cup looks incredible in them. They look so amazing, but honestly, a lot of the times when I find these at antique stores, they are not for sale. So if you see these weird little things, that's what they're for. These are for teacups. Snatch them up. You also can put your teacup on a little display stand. It makes it look just more predominant and more pronounced. You can also find little pedestal stands that are mirrors. I love the mirror ones. I think they look so bougie, so cool, and so elevated. But you also can just find like little risers as well. I thrifted this. Little risers, little compotes, all these things are great stands for teacups to kind of give them different heights in your displays. One of my actual favorite ways to display teacups is to stack them on top of each other. I really love stacks of 3, and I usually kind of group them by like color theme and vibe. I love the stacks of 3 in displays. And again, it is just kind of that whimsical mad tea party vibe. Another way I love to display teacups is by putting something in them. And actually, my mom taught me this a long time ago in my childhood. She gave me this little fairy that sleeps in teacups, and I just love it because it's a fun little whimsical juxtaposition of sizes. So fairies in teacups, little dolls. I got this little Halloween themed vintage teacup set from Ariana at the Withering Cottage. And look how she put the kitty in there and some tissue paper and a linen over the top. It looks fantastic. Linens, handkerchiefs hanging out, jewelry hanging out of a teacup. It all looks fabulous. Teacups can really be juxtaposed with a lot of different things. One of my favorite ways to put something inside a teacup is also to use it as an ephemera display. Look at this beautiful lady and her dog. Isn't that just fun? So there are lots of options of how you can style teacups with little items inside. Oh, and don't forget bottle brush trees. You can put bottle brush trees in teacups. Misty at Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter would kill me if I forgot to mention that. Now, a teacup can really be added to any vignette. Oftentimes color helps it tie into vignettes, but like I even have a teacup over here in a patriotic color display, and it fits in just perfectly. So you really don't have to theme your vignettes around the teacup. However, you can, and that is one great tip for styling. Putting items next to a teacup that juxtapose with like a size play is super duper fun. So like figurines next to a teacup looks really fun. Larger figurines, smaller figurines. The play on size next to the teacup, it just adds a little humor to it. Also, don't forget a teacup can be a riser in itself. You can turn the cup over. I can't do it on this one because I'm drinking tea out of it. And use it as a riser. You can also put the saucer on top and use it as a riser. And as I mentioned before, ephemera with a teacup, you not only can display it in it, but you can display ephemera next to a teacup. A great way to do that is with a little flower frog. You can also use old brushes to display ephemera. These antique wood plate stands also work really well for displaying ephemera that might be just a little bit larger than a postcard. See how nice that looks? So there's lots of options for displaying ephemera next to a teacup. Ariana at the Withering Cottage also taught me that you can use a receipt spike and a teeny tiny magnet to display a postcard. So you just put the teeny tiny magnet there and your postcard stands up. Now, what's so great about ephemera next to a teacup is if you are theming your vignette around the teacup, you can change this postcard out for the season. So this is a Valentine's postcard. Next, you could do a Christmas postcard. All of a sudden, it's a Christmas display. Then you can do an Easter one. Now it's an Easter display. So you can change out the ephemera, and without changing out the teacup, you're kind of changing out the season. But my favorite displays for ephemera are these old brass metal antique ones. They look so amazing. I love them when they have patina. And I just think ephemera on them looks striking. Now these are hard to find. They're always marked NFS or not for sale in antique stores and vintage shops. So whenever I find these available, I snatch them up because they make everything look so important and elevated and almost give it like a regal, bohemian, whimsical vibe. Love, love, love. And don't forget, you can just set teacups next to other tea adjacent items or tea related items, sugars and creamers and teapots, all kinds of tea related items, tea canisters, all looks beautiful next to a teacup. Now you could also turn a teacup into a gift. So I have one of these old like 1960s hair cloths and I'm gonna wrap it around this teacup, okay? Now also, you could fill your teacup gift with like moss, or you could do tissue paper, or you could even stuff it with little tea bags. But the idea of styling a teacup as a little gift, a beautiful vintage gift, I think is super duper fun. Teabloom sent me over some items and like, look at this gift set. Is it not beautiful? It feels really high end and it has like a magnetic closure here. And when you open it up, there are 3 different kinds in this. I mean, how lovely of a gift would it be to receive this and a tied up vintage teacup? I think that is just amazing and beautiful. Also, since the tea does come in these little canisters, you could tie these up in the teacup as well. So here is my vintage teacup with the tea canister tied inside. I think this looks great. And remember, I'm just using the scarf because it's what I have on hand. You could use cellophane, you could use ribbon if you tie it up nice and secure, but that is a really gorgeous gift and it's pretty inexpensive. And the thing I am most excited about is Teabloom sent me over this gorgeous set of bloomin' teas. And oh my gosh, you guys, I'm like nerding out about this because I've never had bloomin' teas before today. And these are just so gorgeous. Look how beautiful display this box is. This would be such a special gift to get. And then again, you could take these and you could put them, some of them, in the teacup for the gift. And here you can see how I tied up some of the little bloomin' teas, and you could give that as a gift along with this package. And I I don't know, the fact that these bloomin' teas are just so beautiful, it kind of turns the tea experience into more of a whimsical experience, a little bit more of that Mad Hatter tea party vibe, which I love, and a little bit more self-care. So I think this is a gorgeous gift. So I will have a link to Teabloom down below, as well as a discount code that you can use. You just enter my code right here and you'll be able to get a discount. So if you have stuck around this long through the video, you are getting rewarded, my friend, because now we're going to look at some of my favorite pieces in my vintage teacup collection. So let's start with some of my teacup adjacent items. I love creamers and sugars. This is a beautiful Art Nouveau set. Gosh, I wish I could find the teapot that went with them. This was just a lone creamer I found. It is very fancy, very beautiful. It is a transferware design of the swans, but it is simply amazing. Can you imagine what this whole set must have looked like? Another gorgeous piece I own is this set. Now I do have 2 cups. Now this is a hot chocolate pot, most likely. So beautiful, so gorgeous. I actually thrifted it for resale and well, I fell in love. Next, let's look at some of my favorite teapots. Now, you know me, I love whimsy. This first one should be of no surprise. It is this super cute little kitty teapot. He could be considered a coffee pot because he's a little taller, but I just love him. Now, this teapot was a fun find. This is actually a pretty common style. You might have seen this before. And I've actually passed up picking this one up a few times in some different colorways, but when I found it in yellow, like Aladdin's lamp, oh, y'all, I just couldn't pass it up. It reminds me of my childhood. I love the movie Aladdin, and so I had to pick this up. And my most favorite teapot that I own is a thrifted item. So I did get this at Goodwill, and it is this absolutely beautiful piece with an engraved crescent moon. The crescent moon design is on both sides. This piece just feels so magical and witchy to me. Absolutely one of my favorite tea-related items, if not one of my favorite antiques that I own. Next, let's look at some teacups that I simply love with some really cool novelty patterns and styles. Now, this adorable little snack set, it's gone very viral on TikTok, so these are very popular, but I have had this snack set. I've had about 6 plates of these with cups for about a decade now. I just love them. Super duper cute. The design is adorable. Now, here is a tip from me to you. Lusterware is very undervalued right now. So if you want to get into teacup collecting, Lusterware is a great place to start. And when I say Lusterware, all I mean is a style that has like a luster to it. Now, I love this teacup. I love that it's a 3-piece set I recently picked up to add to my collection. And this is a little more rare. This style is a little not as common, which I love, but luster is some of the most beautiful teacups you can find. And right now they are very undervalued. So these could be great pickups at vintage shops, antique stores, and thrift stores. I also love teacups that have just unusual styles and patterns. This one actually is an example of lusterware. It is not showing up too well on camera, but it does have a luster. And it's a really unique cup. Really neat. I actually think I got this for 99 cents at a local thrift store. I love this cup. Look at this gorgeous one. It has scenes with deer painted on it, and it does appear to be all hand painted. Really pretty. Also, teacups can be novelty, so they can be like souvenirs. This one is for the Seattle World's Fair. So you can find teacups that are souvenirs. You can find ones that are like months of the year, January, February, March. And you can also find teacups, of course, that say like Merry Christmas, Happy 50th Anniversary, things like that as well. Another style of teacup I really love are these very heavily decorated turn of the century German style mugs. They just have a thicker kind of decoration on them. Here, I'm gonna show you, this one's actually a mug. It's not technically a teacup, but you can see what I mean. The decoration is just heavy. It's very, very thick. It's almost like a slip glaze onto the cup. I love this style of mug. And if you put forget me not on a teacup or a mug, I'm gonna pick it up. I love sentimental items. And the forget me not phrase is very often used in mourning items. So I just love it. Also, hand painted teacups are more desirable and more valuable. This beauty I actually got from my friend Heather. Oh my God, I love this so much. The hand painting on this is gorgeous. And my friend Heather also sent me this gorgeous teacup, this little demi-tasse, with a hand painted portrait in it. It is amazing. I love the 3D accents on this. This is fantastic and such a great gift. And right now, this is the most valuable cup that I have in my possession so far. So this is a cabbage rose pattern by Ainsley, and it is signed by J.A. Bailey. And this can sell for hundreds of dollars. So this is a really neat find, really, really beautiful cup. And lastly, let's look at cups that have a secret. So this little cup, it has moriage or moriage. It has like 3D painting on it, and that is known as dragonware. But this cup has a secret. It has a lithopane inside. And what that means is when you hold it up to the light, there is an image on the bottom of the cup. So this one's actually a naughty cup. There is a naughty nude image in this one, but it's really beautiful. But this style of dragonware is very typical to have lithopanes on the bottom of the cup, which is just 3D pictures that are created by different thicknesses of the porcelain. And I thrifted this one for all of 79 cents. And then my last one is very delicate and very beautifully hand painted. It's a little less traditional of a style. Really, really love this one. And again, this one does have the geisha on the bottom. So if your cup has a geisha on the bottom, it is considered geisha ware. But this one is a little not typical, I guess. And I've been saving my absolute favorite teacup till the end. It is this beautiful teacup. And you might think, Katherine, this one seems a little plain for your style. Well, this one has a secret. This is a fortune-telling teacup. Now, this is an authentic old one from 1920s era or earlier. And women could keep this teacup up on their hutch, on their shelves, and it looks like a regular teacup, but inside it would be used for divination work. So really neat. And if you're interested in these, they do go rather high, but there are companies that have reproduced these and the reproductions look amazing. So there are different styles of this, and you can get the reproductions for fairly reasonable prices. And that is it, y'all. I hope you loved this video. I had so much fun putting it together, and I just love teacups and I love decorating with them, and I love sharing that with you. Please let me know down below in the comments what was your favorite decoration idea. And if you like videos like this, thrifting, vintage, creative projects, and more, please subscribe. And if you ring that bell, you'll be the first to know when I next upload. So stay creative, y'all, and bye.